The man let the cold wind ravage his father's body. Then, he yanked the blanket off his father, calmly wrapping it around himself. He quietly watched his father freeze to death. Then, he burned down the dilapidated house, which symbolized his final break from the same crumbling past. He took the only thing of value left, his father's watch. And with that, he began his plan to turn his life around. In the unfamiliar little town he was eyeing, a new world was about to open up for this genius. Here, there was a circus that attracted many tourists. That evening, the most popular performance was almost unbelievable. The ringmaster claimed he had raised a new species that resembled humans. The man could survive for a year by drinking only a bit of animal blood. At first, he couldn't believe such nonsense, but the ringmaster's performance was just beginning to reach its climax. He threw a live chicken into the arena. At the sight of it, the man seemed to trigger some instinct. He quickly grabbed the poor chicken and cradled it in his arms. At first, the man struggled with a confused look, but under the crowd's taunting, he bit off the chicken's neck. At that moment, Charlie had no idea that this man would become the huge turning point in his rise to fame. When the show ended, the ringmaster's assistant began collecting tickets. Charlie, penniless, could only slip away in the chaos, but the ringmaster saw him. As Charlie slipped out the back door, a few of the circus workers stopped him. Yet they didn't trouble him for sneaking in, because they just happened to need a few guys to do the dirty work. Although the pay was minimal, and the work was grueling, at least Charlie had a place to stay, and could barely fill his stomach. But that wasn't why Charlie had come here. After all, performers on stage had much better lives than the backstage workers. And each of those performers had their own unique talents. Every successful actor had a custom-made show. Charlie knew all too well that these seemingly magical performances were nothing but scams, including the ridiculous new species the ringmaster talked about, which was nothing more than a pitiful person he had raised. Hoping to get his own act someday, Charlie went to find the circus's witch. This would mark the beginning of his climb to the top. The witch readily agreed to let Charlie be her assistant, because she saw that the newcomer had an eye for talent. The next day, Charlie began working as her assistant. In the mind-reading performance, he collected the names and secrets of the audience members. For the first time, he was inside a scam show. Charlie pretended to hand the notes with the secrets to the witch, but what she burned on stage was an empty envelope she had prepared earlier. Like a real mind reader, she seemed to see everything, but in reality, she was just making up stories based on what was written on the chalkboard below, and manipulating the audience's psychology. At that moment, Charlie realized this was exactly what he wanted to do.